Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Wednesday night live stream. I have Robert from Marine Depot on. I'm sure many of you guys have seen this guy. I've been watching your videos for ages, so super excited to have you on.
Thank
Um,
you, Devin.
you've def
Appreciate it.
no, it's awesome, man. Yeah, I've seen your videos. I'm sure pretty much everyone in the chat has, because you're basically the face of Marine Depot.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yep. So a couple questions for you. So I was kind of curious, what actually got you into this hobby, or how long have you actually been in the hobby for? Hey, what's going on,
Well, I
guys?
guess start
Welcome
from the
to the
beginning.
Wednesday night live stream.
First
I have
aquarium was when I
Robert
was
from Marine
15.
Depot on. Hey, oh, there we go. Okay, sorry,
Right
go
there.
ahead.
We're good. We're good.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. So first aquarium when I was 15. First saltwater tank when I was 19, and first reef tank was 2006. Yeah, it was the year my daughter was born. Yeah, so 2006.
Yep.
And then today, this is my 12th year with Marine Depot. I started with Marine Depot in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much have always been, drawn to the ocean. I grew up in Southern California. My dad exposed me to the outdoors really young, and so it was just always part of my life.
Nice.
I just, from a young age, I had an affinity towards the water.
Mm,
So, if I wasn't surfing or swimming or diving or at the tide pools, I was fishing. So
nice.
it's kind of in my blood in that sense. But
So I take
I
it you
guess
you live
8 years.
close to
What's
the
that?
ocean now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I live in Orange County, so I'm about a 10-minute drive to the
Okay.
beach.
Nice.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
not
pretty
bad.
good. Yeah, no, not bad at all.
I was just on Vancouver Island 2 weeks ago, and same thing. I was all excited to go explore all the tide pools. I found this one area that was awesome, and just tons of them. So I was there for hours, just trying to see what
Oh,
creatures you could find. I
I
love it.
could spend days there. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
fishing and at the beach probably at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't get enough of it. That's for
No,
sure.
no, I'm with you. I think that's one thing with the hobby. It draws a lot of us to the ocean, and that underwater world is
Yeah,
definitely
definitely.
fascinating.
And there's so much to explore. That's the cool
Mm,
part. Is there's so many different environments and there's so much unknown. So it's really cool to see what's going to happen in the future. In terms of
exactly.
science, it's science. In other
Mm.
words, yeah.
I just random thing. I read something the other day, and it basically said that they know more about space than they do about the ocean. It just goes to show how much stuff there is down there that we have no idea about
Right.
yet.
Yeah, and they're discovering new species all the time. I mean,
Hmm.
it blew me away. I was reading some at the end of last year, and it's like how many new fish species in 2017 alone, and it was
Hmm.
like, wow, it's crazy. And all of them were from the ocean essentially.
Yeah, it's very cool. So, okay, so you've been in the hobby for a while. Were you a hobbyist before you started working at Marine Depot, or did that bring you into the hobby, or how did that kind of work out for
Um,
you?
well, yeah, I was a hobbyist, but I never had a reef tank.
Hmm.
So, pretty much my entire professional life, I've worked in the aquarium industry.
Hmm.
Uh, right when I was going to college and right out of high school, I was a manager at a really large chain pet store, and I was there for about 4 years. And all through that time, I was a hobbyist, obviously mostly just freshwater. And then in 2006 is when I made the switch over here to MD as a customer service agent or technical support
Yep.
agent. And then in 2013 is when I started doing the media and content. I studied graphics in college, so that was
Hmm.
sort of my background. Um, yeah, so I mean, it's definitely prior to MD,
Yep.
I was keeping fish.
No, that's pretty cool. Since
Yeah,
2013, so you've been doing it for about 10 years now, like at least online and everything else. Oh, that's
yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy how time is flying, and just
Mhm.
so many things changing and progressing. I'm a pretty lucky guy. I've got a great job. I love it. And I
Mhm.
tell people that do something you love and you'll never work a
Yeah,
day in your life. And there's a lot of truth to that.
so true. Dream
Yeah,
job, man. You're working with we take all our time and all our money and spend it all on this hobby, and you're like, yep, let's do it all day, every day.
yeah. And it's funny that well, we'll talk about my fish tanks, but
Mm-hmm.
it's funny how that sort of evolved. I mean, from I don't even have an aquarium at home anymore, but I have five here at the office.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm around them all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say that the last thing I want to do when I go home is like do a water change or something. Like I don't think I'll build a tank at home.
Yeah.
It's fun. Was having a conversation last week after looking at some of the innovative marine all-in-one tanks. I
Mm-hmm.
really love those new INTs and the EXT tanks they have.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I was like, yeah, maybe we should put one at home, and teach the kids because I've got a little girl. She's just about 2 years old, so
Nice.
um, And my oldest daughter, she's been exposed to it and is, enough fish, Dad. Like she just rolls her eyes at me now. She's 12, so she's
Yeah.
she's going on her way. But the young one, I don't know. I kind of want to raise her with an aquarium in the house.
Yeah.
I think it's important. So maybe, maybe it's in my future, maybe not. But as
Well,
of right now, they're all at the office.
yeah, just get her a little one for Christmas, and you can get your little fix at home.
There you
But
go.
get it
Yeah,
for her
maybe.
tank.
And I was thinking, like, I mean, my brain went crazy with it, but yeah, doing a little concept tank with, maybe some soft corals or
Hmm.
some LPS. I really like soft corals and macroalgae and whatnot. So um, I'll probably end up doing something like that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
If
cool.
if I if I know myself, yeah.
So you said you used to have tanks at home, so you brought them to the office?
Yeah. So
Home
I
away from home?
had, let me see, how many reefs did I build at home before I did it? I had two reefs at home.
Hmm.
I had a 10 gallon. I guess there was a 20 gallon too. So I had a 10 and 20 gallon, and then I built a 60 cube. That was like I had a custom tank made, and it was a whole ordeal. It was a full build, and that was my pride and joy. That was a really 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 cool tank, and I had that running for about 3 years at home. And then when I started doing video here at Marine Depot, we needed tanks and space to shoot video, and I just decided to bring it to the office. I had a Tang, and
Hmm.
she's an Atlantic blue Tang. We still have her.
Nice.
Precious is her name. But she was sort of outgrowing the 60 gal cube too, so that
Hmm.
was one of the big things. But my corals were just, I mean, they were coming out the water. I was
Hmm.
having to trim them all the time, and when you get those cube tanks, it's real easy to pack them. And then if the corals are healthy and are growing, and you're having good success with it, I mean, it fills quick, really really quick. And so I was constantly having to frag it out, and so then I moved it into an SR80,
Hmm.
so an 80-gallon tank here at the office, and that was, I guess, 2014 is
Yeah.
when I did it. So yeah, it was just after I started doing content for MD here.
No, that's awesome. So good chunk. So how many? Okay, so you moved your tanks to the office. So you have a couple in there now.
Yeah.
How many do you actually have running in the office now?
Okay, so we have in the studio where I do most of the filming and that kind of stuff. We have two reef tanks and a freshwater planet tank.
Hmm.
So there's three, and then we have one soft coral tank. It's like peninsula. It's the Innovative Marine Peninsula, the 20 gallon,
Nice.
and that one's in our break room. That's
Hmm.
sort of the relaxing tank. It's got a lot of soft coral in it. I even have Xenia in there and
Hmm.
some Pallies as well. But it's just real neat to watch.
Hmm.
Just everything's flowing with the current. We have it on a wave mode, so it pulses, and it's really
Nice.
neat
It's
tank.
got the
That's
it's got the flow to relax you as you're on your break.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
It definitely will put you right out, and it's so easy to take care of too. I was surprised after putting that tank together. It was just sort of on a whim. I had
Hmm.
to place some corals, and yeah, it's by no conscious effort, it's become my favorite tank in the office for
Really?
sure.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I love just staring at it. I love messing with it. It's one of my favorite ones for sure.
Nice. You actually did send me a couple of photos. I didn't copy them on my computer yet, but anyone that's in the Facebook group, I'll post them up there later to show you
Sure,
guys some
and
pics after.
I'm a totally nice guy. You can chat me, whatever,
Hmm.
email me anytime if you guys want to see pictures of the tanks. Maybe I'll do a little video update on all of them someday. I've been talking
Perfect.
about it for a while. With such a heavy schedule of videos, it's hard to get sort of those fun ones in. But
Yeah.
I think maybe it's due. Maybe after this
Hmm.
call, we'll get a little
Shoot
video
one.
update.
Just a
Yeah,
little mass update. Show them all off. I think it'd be cool to do.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I really doing this live stuff. I think doing on a live video would be cool. But I
Hmm.
like to put something out there that I can reference and sort of go back to in a couple years from now.
Hmm.
And look at the progress of the tanks.
Yeah, it is really cool to see how things progress too.
Oh yeah.
Even like not looking like I know if I go on vacation for a couple weeks and come back and see the tank, you'll notice difference.
Oh,
So when you see it every day,
I
you
love
don't
that.
notice.
Yeah,
So
I love it. I'm
mhm.
really into gardening too, and so I get the same satisfaction out of it. I mean, even for 3 days, I'll
Mhm.
come home and I'll notice things changed and different. I mean, that's the fascination of it all.
Yep.
And even every weekend I leave the reef tanks here at the office, and I come in Monday morning, and it's the first thing. Well, ideally, the first thing that I do is go check on them, and I'll see new growth or something changed or got knocked over. I don't know,
Hmm.
it's fun. That's the funnest part of the hobby for me, anyway.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is totally funny though how like every day you don't notice, a few days, a week, you're like, hey, that's bigger, that changed, that's
Yeah,
aggressive
yeah,
more.
exactly. And it's just a couple days is all it takes. But if you're staring at it every day, you don't notice these changes.
Hmm.
But just a couple days away from it, Actually, a big one was Aquacella. I was
Yeah.
gone for 3 days, I think, maybe 4 days,
Hmm.
4 days, and I mean, it just almost looked like a completely different tank to me. Like I had a NEM split, and this other coral stung another coral, so then I had to move them around, and one like basically was half dead because the other one stung it. So just all this crazy stuff that happens, and I don't know,
Hmm.
it's just fun, definitely
Yeah.
fun.
It's crazy all the little tiny drama and world and things that go on in our little
Oh
box of
gosh,
ocean, eh?
amazing little microcosms there. There's so much going on, and it's
Hmm.
neat that everything sort of has its niche and its place, and yeah, being able to watch that. I mean, I think that's what most of us are why we're drawn to these aquariums, glass
Hmm.
boxes. It takes a certain type of person to stare at an animal in a glass box for hours on end.
Endless hours, daily, weekly.
Right, exactly. And then
Hmm.
let alone all of the stress that goes into the learning and maintaining it, and you know, they're so fragile too.
Yeah.
So fragile. That's the scary part, but
No,
still fun.
very, very true. So, working at Marine Depot, you guys obviously see a ton of products flow through. You guys get to test out and try a lot of cool stuff. Is there any like favorites that you have or stuff that you're really digging right now from just different stuff you played with or use on your own tanks or
Um, Well, we have the Marine Depot controller boards. Those
those
are
are cool?
something that, yeah, they're pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on those for a long time. Have a great partner who was manufacturing
Mm-hmm.
them, and he's just been great. Took us a while to sort of R&D it and get it right, but I'm pretty proud of what we ended up with. I think they've been well received in the hobby, and
They look pretty awesome.
yeah, no, they're neat. And the material is the coolest part for me. It's this expanded PVC, and it's just, I mean, it's super cool material to work with. You can
Mm-hmm.
cut it, sand it. It's easy to screw into, but I mean, it's lightweight but also
Mm-hmm.
durable. So it's a really neat material.
Nice.
And we've been brainstorming all kinds of different accessories. We came out with a shelf for the board right away,
Mm-hmm.
but after using it on a couple tanks here. And getting some feedback from some hobbyists, there's already some accessories that we know are going to complement it really well. So that's
Nope.
hopefully what we'll see in the future with it. Another one, I mean, in terms of favorite equipment, aside from that, I know it's hard to say. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost like asking me my favorite coral. There's
Do you
just
have a
so
favorite
many.
coral?
Well, and that's the same thing. I can't really say I have a favorite, but I will say that there are a few that I enjoy. At first, it was zoanthids and
Mm-hmm.
palithoas. I mean, just the myriad of colors and being able to
Yep.
garden them together was just fascinating to me in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I still love them, but definitely have gone away from collecting them. Soft corals and macroalgae are definitely close to my heart. I love those
Yeah.
things. I love scaping a tank naturally and
Mm-hmm.
watching it sort of blossom into its own sort of aquascape.
Yeah.
And then I also love SPS. I've got a Red Sea reefer here that's chock full of SPS that I've had for. So I mean, some of them I've had since the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Nice.
and then other new ones. But I'm going to say that's a recent sort of infatuation. That's only been the last maybe 3 years. And I think a lot of it goes with confidence too.
Mm-hmm.
I was keeping SPS alive for quite some time prior, but it was just always sort of scared to dedicate an entire tank to it or just focus completely on that. And um, yeah, these last 3 years of putting together those tanks and being exposed to different corals and collecting different
Mm-hmm.
corals, that's probably the one that gets my most attention
Yeah.
just because it's so sensitive. The other ones I can kind of neglect for a little bit, but that SPS tank really needs some TLC for sure.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
The coral addiction part's definitely what's kind of sucked me in and been like, oh, I'm out of space, need a bigger tank. Oh, need a
yeah,
bigger tank. It
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
it lures you in. You're like, must collect them all. It's like
I
Pokemon
know.
corals.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing too is I love keeping corals around and sharing them and when you start collecting them,
Hmm.
you take a lot of pride in that and keeping it alive is really important to you.
Nope, definitely with you on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
So the controller board is like kind of like a Marine Depot product now, which you guys actually came
Hmm.
up and partnered and produced.
Yeah.
Is there any other kind of stuff like that coming down the line, or because I didn't really know you guys had your own line of products until recently, so I thought it was that was pretty sweet. Like
Sure.
controller board was the first one that caught my eye, but
Yeah, and the
hmm
controller board really is the first sort of spotlight product or just something unique and different that we've done. We've always had our house brand,
hmm
but generally it was just reserved for sort of small unbranded products like a hose clip or something like
yeah,
that. It was just sort of to fill that void of brand.
hmm
But as time went on, we realized that let's let's use our brand. It's strong, and let's make some unique products. And you're not going to see, I mean, you're definitely not going to see us, put out like stuff that already exists,
Hmm.
or likely anyway. Pumps, skimmers, things like that that are pretty much staples, and there's plenty of people making them. That's not really something that we're interested in. It's more of those unique products like the controller board, things that don't exist, things
Yeah.
that are going to help hobbyists succeed, and have a happier, healthier aquarium.
Hmm.
So, do we have new things on the forefront? I already talked on the accessories for the controller board, so those will probably be things that you'll see first.
Nice.
We are working on some inserts, some all-in-one inserts, I guess. So basically, you just take a standard tank, you drop in an insert, and now you've got all-in-one.
Oh, that's a cool idea. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a few companies that make them, and we've
Hmm.
seen different ones. But we've got some ideas and some things that we want to integrate, or I do anyway. And we're going to work with the same manufacturer that did the boards. Um, that's just beginning though. So we
Yeah.
just started those conversations. So it is happening, but I can't really tell you if or when it's ever going to come to fruition.
No, that's fair. But so some cool stuff coming. It's good to know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're always progressing, always looking for new ideas, always on the hunt for that kind of stuff. So, you know, feel
Hmm.
free to share your thoughts. Definitely.
Nope, definitely will do. Throw them your way if you come up with some good ideas.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
um, I'm all ears for it. I love talking tank and about the hobby anyway. So,
Hmm. No, that's pretty awesome. So on a tank, another kind of question is there any equipment like what's your most essential thing that you would have to have for every tank that you do?
uh, um, okay. Well, aside from the necessities,
Yeah.
pumps, skimmers, things like that.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say an RO system, an RODI
Yeah.
system at home, and then probably a bulb syringe.
Hmm.
Uh, I walk into my studio here. We walk into the tanks, and I immediately pick up the bulb syringe, and I don't put it down until I'm going back to my desk to edit or do something else. Um, why? Because I can feed everything with it. Stir
Hmm.
detritus, sort of move things
That's fair.
around. Not get stung by a coral or a nem or something. So I think it's a super useful tool. Prior to that, it was tongs, but then with the reef tank and spot feeding and different things like that, I always find myself with a bulb syringe in my hand. And then an
Yep.
RODI system, that's
Yep.
just like, the unsung hero of our hobby.
Hmm.
I absolutely hate carrying water jugs to fish stores.
Yep.
Not just because it's heavy and
It gets old fast.
yeah, but because I go to the fish store and I buy stuff, and if I have to go every week, then I'm spending money every week on corals that I don't have room for, or fish, or an invert or something.
Hmm.
And it's hard for me to walk into a fish store and not buy something. It's
Yeah.
it's difficult. I will look through every tank, even if I was there yesterday.
Yep.
Um,
Just in case something new you missed, you never know.
yeah, so that's, I mean, yeah, the RODI is huge, and then you can also trust that water chemistry is huge. We're water keepers. We're not animal keepers. Like,
Hmm.
once you understand that you're keeping water
Yeah.
and not fish, then
Hmm.
everything else will fall in line. And so being, trusting that the water that's going into your aquarium is, free of contaminants and it's mixed to the salinity you want it, using the salt mix that you want it,
Hmm.
not just because the guy said it was, it's because it is. I think is pretty important. And I've definitely had far more success since having RODIs at home
Hmm.
compared to having to go to a fish store or mixing the water
Right.
myself.
Just one little tip that I've made a big thing for me because I hated carrying around water. Same thing, like even from the
Yeah,
RODI to the tanks. I
yeah, yeah,
bought 50 feet of RODI hose and put a little ball valve on it, and I just walk it to my auto container and just turn on and fill it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Hmm.
I actually, well, this is one thing I didn't mention about my tanks. I do have a freshwater pond at home.
Yeah.
It's just got some goldfish and fancy guppies in it, and I use that water to feed my vegetable garden, and my fruit trees. But yeah, the same thing. I run like a little auto top off pump
Nice.
through a bunch of RO tubing, and then
Hmm.
I can go around the yard and water different plants and whatnot.
Yep. Perfect.
But yes, it's the same thing. And I hooked just an RO filter directly into that tank on a
Yep.
float, or the pond essentially. I mean, it's an old tank that's above ground, but
Hmm.
we'll call it a pond because it's outside.
Yeah.
And that hooks on a float, so I pull the water out, it
Hmm.
fills by itself, and it's
Perfect.
perfect. It works out great.
Nutrient-rich water for the plants, and you got your
Yeah,
little pond.
exactly. Yeah, and the kids like it,
Hmm.
but I really don't tinker with it much. The coolest thing for me is just collecting the fancy guppies because
Yeah.
it's got a pretty stable breeding population of them in there, and so every time I go in to clean the tank or maintain it or something, there's new little males in there that have different colors, and so
That's kind of
that's
fun.
yeah, the funnest part of it
Yeah.
for me.
And then the fish probably would eat any mosquitoes or that type of stuff that ever try to land in there. So it's probably
Yeah, yeah,
multi
no, that's
beneficial.
definite. Here in Orange County, mosquitoes are an issue every
Yeah.
summer. So I mean, it's not as bad as some places, but
Hmm.
if you've got standing water in your yard, it's definitely a good idea to have something like that.
No, very true. So a couple other, actually, what else was I going to ask you? So the controller boards, those are pretty sweet.
Hmm.
We definitely want to check those out more. Actually, Macna's coming up. Are you going?
Yes, I will be at MACNA. We are
Nice.
very, very close. I think you and I will be sharing a martini poolside.
Done. Done.
What 7 days? What's next? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go next Thursday
Are
is when
you?
I'm leaving.
Nice.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll be there. Excited for it. It's gonna be great.
Yep.
I'll be collecting content like I always do, talking to people,
Hmm.
hopefully meeting some hobbyists. That's one thing. Please, if you ever see me at shows or things like that, please don't hesitate to say hi. I love it. I love talking to
Yep.
tanks. I love meeting people. So yeah, please do it. That's one of my favorite things to do.
No, that's awesome.
Um, but
I'm
yeah,
with you.
it
I'm definitely
should
going
be
to hunt you down and bug you over there. It'll be
yes,
good,
no,
good to
no.
hang out for a bit.
Yes, definitely. And Macna's a really fun one because it's so big and there's so much stuff to do and see and learn. And yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a crazy fun weekend. And being in Vegas, yeah, I mean, I think we're just going to have a great time. I think everybody's going to have a great time.
No, exactly.
Hmm.
So you're going in Thursday, right? So
Thursday, yeah, I'm
just
leaving.
over a week.
We're going to drive at night because it's only about 5 hours from
Oh, it's not
us
bad.
in the car. Yeah.
Hmm.
And you got to go across this gnarly desert. So we'll just drive at night and wake up in Vegas on Friday.
Perfect. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll definitely have to rendezvous at some point.
for sure.
So you were just at Aquashella, Macna. So you're just like trade show. You guys got all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
exhibit at all of them, but
Hmm.
we do have Reefapalooza coming up, which is
Yep.
pretty much the one that we do exhibit at, and
Hmm.
it's our hometown show. We've been with them since the very very beginning. It was Reefapalooza started as a small frag swap here with a local club, and then it was in our parking lot for a couple of years, and then they moved into the fairgrounds, and it's now what it is today with four shows all over the United
Nice.
States. Um, but the Orange County show is probably our favorite just
Hmm.
because, it's the local club guys. These are people that have supported us since the very beginning. And so we do our best to display at that show. We get a big booth, we bring fish, we have display tanks.
Hmm.
All of our CSR staff is there for you guys to meet and talk to. It's pretty much the only chance that we get to talk to hobbyists, at
Yeah.
least our CSR staff. I mean, I do travel to different shows. But at the Orange County show is really the one opportunity that we get per year to
With
really
everybody.
meet and yeah, to really meet everybody. And then I love working with the club guys, the Southern California Marine Aquarium Society.
Hmm.
They're some of the best friends I have in that club, and some
Nice.
great times to be had. And so, yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
mean, that's just another layer on top of all of it. The fun of the show, meeting the people, but then getting to work with those guys. It's always fun.
Very cool. I'm definitely gonna
Yeah.
try and make it out to one of those one of these
Oh
days.
man, I'd love it.
Yeah.
I
What
got a
time of the
spare
year is that
I
one?
got a spare bedroom if you need it, buddy.
Hey, I may take you up on this one day. Maybe not this year.
There you
Maybe
go.
next year I will.
Yeah, I love it, man. And Southern California is so great. There's so much
Hmm.
to do. I'm a huge outdoorsman, and so I've
Yep.
thought about moving to more rural areas or different things. But there's you've got the ocean, you got the mountains,
Hmm.
all within a day's drive. You've got big city, you've got deserts, mountains, whatever you want in terms of environment
Yeah.
is here. So I'll probably never leave.
Hey, that's a good excuse.
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
I know aside from the other thing, you're also a hardcore fisherman. So
Yes,
you're
sir.
close to the ocean. So that'd probably be hard for you to leave that one.
Yeah, that's leaving the oceans is something I can never do. My family is originally from Montana, so I spent some time up there, and after about 2 weeks, I get pretty homesick and need to come back and see the ocean. That's for
Hmm.
sure.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
I know you had a bit of a crazy schedule today, so I'm not going to keep you too long. But
Sure.
I definitely appreciate you coming on today. It's been a great little chat,
Thank you, Devin.
and
It's been great.
I'm excited to come meet you in person, see you, and hang out next week.
Yes, definitely. I'm super excited for it. Just a couple of things before we go.
Hmm.
MD has been doing a lot of things this year with the website and also collaborations, things like this. Trying to reach out and touch hobbyists. But there's been some really, really cool things that we've done to the website that I just kind of want to just sort of point out, see if
Fill
you
us in.
guys so you guys can
Mhm.
look at them, give us feedback, different things like that.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, we've just got all kinds of different things that we've added to the site this
Yeah.
year.
So on that,
Basically,
it's your 20th anniversary as well. I mean, straight across the top of the page, so that's pretty sweet, actually.
yeah, actually, I
Congrats.
didn't even think about that fact. Yes, I think September marks our 20th year.
Hmm.
So I think we were one of the first, saltwater dealers online, and seen some ups and downs and made it through. And it's really cool to be a part,
Yeah.
of a successful company like that for so long. With such a rich history in the hobby, it's pretty neat. But going back to the website, let me just kind of get through here. We've added things like social login. You've got push notifications. You can get live tracking
Ah, live
updates with,
chat.
yeah, with
Mm.
SMS and Facebook Messenger. Product trends, so you can see, not only stock status, but how many people are looking at products.
Oh, that's
That's a
very
pretty
cool.
cool one.
Hmm.
And perhaps my favorite is the content search.
Yep.
So, prior to this, the educational content and product searches were sort of two separate databases. And so now we've integrated them. So when you say,
Ah.
you search for a skimmer on the site, you're going to get all your skimmer products, but then you'll also have a tab for content. So you can go in there and educate yourself, and it'll all come up in a single search. So that's been my favorite one. And also videos come up. So
Yep. Oh,
that's nice for the YouTube channel.
very cool. Just pulling this up for a second. Yeah, that's actually really cool. Search for something. You got the products, and you got another tab for blog posts, so you can look at all different kind of information and write ups and videos on it.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty neat. That
That's awesome.
was, yeah, my favorite advancement this year. And then back to collaboration, or,
Mm.
or something that we've been doing this year, or at least I've been focusing on, is collaborating. So, trying to get with other content creators, that's been huge for me. But we've also done different videos. I'm not sure if you've seen, but we have a partnership with a local university, Concordia
Hmm.
University, and I've been going and filming with their marine biolab,
Yeah.
and we've gone out on dive trips, and they've got this really cool lab down there, and they're teaching me all about how they keep the animals for their collection tanks, their touch tanks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, the next video I'm going to put out for that is a dive trip where they talk about how they, collect and maintain the animals for their traveling touch tanks. So that's going to be a neat video. I'm excited for. Um, and then collaborating with other content creators like you. So if there's anybody out there, if you've got ideas or you want to reach out, please don't hesitate. Shoot me an email. You can always reach me social@marinedepot.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's awesome. Cruz, thank you for the super chat.
Definitely.
much much appreciated, Robert. That's very cool stuff going on. The educational stuff too. I love all that. Like when you're doing, like you actually had a video a little while ago with like the kids in the tide pools and collecting all that type of
Yep.
stuff,
Yep.
which is
Yep.
neat. It's
I
awesome to see
love
that
that
stuff
kind of stuff.
happening.
I mean, I'm not sure I said it earlier, but well, I guess, yeah, I was touching with my daughter. I mean, bringing kids and having them appreciate and respect the natural world is
Hmm.
so important for the future of it. And if you get them young, they're going to appreciate it for the rest of their lives. And so
Hmm.
that's something that I definitely try to do in all aspects of my life. I just
Yeah.
spread the conservation word. I mean, that's just huge for me. So
Hey, that benefits all of us in the hobby in the future. So good way
definitely.
to be. All right, man. Much appreciated.
Sure. Well, Devin, I want to
Yep.
say thank you for having me here.
Hmm.
Again, guys, please don't hesitate to reach out anytime. You can
Yep.
definitely email me if you've got questions or just want to
Hmm.
talk tank. You can get me on Facebook, Instagram, all the the social outlets. You can see photos of our tanks, different things like
Hmm.
that. So
Oh, very cool. And
we look
next
forward to hearing
week,
from you.
if you guys are coming to Macna, be sure to come say hi.
That's
Robert,
right. Yes,
myself, we're both going to be there. We both want to
we'll
meet
be
you
there
guys.
along with a ton of other content creators. So there'll be
Hmm.
endless opportunities to really meet cool people and have some good conversation
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome weekend.
for sure.
Awesome. Thanks so much, and I will see you next week. And
All
everybody,
right.
thanks for hanging out.
Take care and happy reef keeping.
Happy reef keeping.
Bye now.
Cheers.